Okay, so these episodes are just getting better and better each time they come out. This episode was dope as hell, as were all the last ones that came out. Now, let's just jump right into this review, basically. So, this episode starts off with Yui basically looking over the Underworld, I guess, as she was the one that, was, allowed everyone to go into the Underworld, all of Kirito's friends and allies and stuff, and she is, looking over the Underworld, basically, and she notices something weird, with the connections, and she doesn't really recognize it. But then it cuts to the intro, or opening, and this opening is still dope every time I hear it, and I can't lie, I'm getting Tokyo Ghoul vibes from this. Unravel with the whole Kaneki, he basically just goes from he stops being like a wimpy bitch and becomes this overpowered badass with the white and black hair. That's kind of the vibes I get from here. Kirito with his black hair, he's basically still out of it, and with it turns white and I guess he gets stronger or whatever. I don't know. It just gives me Tokyo Ghoul vibes from this opening. But anyways, after the opening, it starts to get hype, dude. Now, after the opening, we get the main bad guy that's fighting the human empire, his right hand man, and I finally remember this guy's name, or during the episode, and it's Po, which stands for Prince of Hell, which is kind of a badass name if you ask me. He's just kind of picking on Kirito because he's still in his comatose state, basically, and he kicks him out of his wheelchair and onto the ground, and he grabs Yu-Gi-Oh sword, which Kirito is trying to desperately hold on to, and throws it away, and it's just sticking out of the ground, and Kirito is just trying to grab it, and you're just come on, dude, at this point you gotta wake up. And this just kind of pisses off Klein to the point where he's stop it, you bastard, and tries to get up, but he gets pinned down by the Black Knights. That's what they call. I was calling them Red Knights in the last review, and he gets just speared to the back to keep him down. You're just looking at it like that, man, that looks painful as hell. But when everything is looking down, there's no one else to for them to help the human empire and everyone. Another person comes to the rescue, and that person is AG, or Nautilus. You remember, for those of you who saw Ordinal Scale, the antagonist in that, he comes to the rescue. How, I have, no fucking clue how, he got in. I guess it was his, computer AI girlfriend, Yuna, who was, a singing AI, basically, who's, famous. They somehow got into the Underworld, and he comes to the rescue and starts fighting Po. He kind of puts up a good fight, but Po kind of knocks him down, but that's where Yuna comes in and starts singing and basically gives him a power-up, I guess. And as he's fighting Po is getting pissed off, and he asks who he is, and that's when he responds with, "I'm Nautilus from the Knights of the Blood Oath." And he changes into his gear from SAO, his Knights of the Blood Oath uniform, and you're just damn, dude, that looks cool as hell. And then they start to have this dope ass battle, but as they're fighting, it starts to show Poe's his past and his background, basically, through flashbacks. The first one is him waking up in a hospital bed with surgeons around him. But then it cuts back to the fight where Nautilus, he's able to land a scratch on Po, but he gets his arm chopped off, or rather both of his arms chopped off. And as it looks like Po is about to finish off EG or Nautilus, it shows his full flashback. It starts out in 2015, all the way back then, in San Francisco, with his mom saying that he's basically the devil's spawn, and that she basically hates him. Then it cuts to like him and his dad, who wants him to save his half-brother with like he needs a kidney transplant. And after the transplant, he goes to look through a window and sees his dad and his half-brother, who are Japanese, and this makes him hate Japanese, and basically all of this leads him to hate the Japanese. And then it cuts to him older, a couple days after the people log into SAO and there are hundreds of deaths. He steals a nerve gear and logs into SAO. Not sure how he managed to survive, if he stole it and just casually put it on in his house. But he does log in, and the reason he logs in is because basically he gets to kill the Japanese without any consequences. So this just crazy serial killer bastard only logged into SAO to kill Japanese people. And that's basically the reason he kind of sold out Laughing Coffin and didn't really give a shit about it, was because Laughing Coffin members are also Japanese, and basically this guy just hates all Japanese people. And basically that's kind of the reason of him being the sadistic fuck. But then it cuts back to the fight between AG or Nautilus and Poe, and Poe is about to finish him off, but Nautilus, he goes, EE goes up and bites his throat, but gets smashed back onto the ground. And that's when him and Nuna are kinda done, and they're like, we distracted him for you. I got the shit beat out of me. I attacked him a little bit. We out. Peace. That's basically what this was. I mean, it was cool to see him again, but he just kind of came out of nowhere and then dipped out after 8 and 9 minutes. So you're left wondering alright, I guess we'll see you never then. But after this, the players who are playing as the Black Knights see that Poe is a member of Laughing Coffin, and they realize that he's this evil serial killing bastard. So they start to wonder if this has all been wrong. But then he brings out this dark power out of nowhere and starts to control all the Black Knights basically, except for a couple. And then it cuts to the fight between Sinon and Subtilizer. And this fight is pretty dope as well. Sinon kinda gets fucked up, even though she's using her main sniper. And they have these really cool shots with the bullets where they touch each other and basically send them off course. But as we know, Subtilizer, he's just overpowered as shit, and he kinda shoots off Sinon's leg. But as it looks like Subtilizer about to finish off Sinon, it cuts to Leafa, and she is just getting fucked up because it's basically her against a ridiculous amount of Black Knight players. Basically, this is just kind of her mowing them down, getting a bunch of swords and spears stuck in her, a bunch of cuts and scrapes and all that, and her healing and realizing that Kirito easily break through this, I guess. That's how she interprets it, and that she has to go on fighting. And I gotta say, the part with Leafa is brutal as hell. But eventually it cuts back to Subtilizer and Sinon. And Subtilizer shoots another bullet, and it looks like he's about to finish off Sinon, but it ends up hitting the necklace she kind of took from Kirito, or that he kind of gave to her, and it ends up saving her. And she basically falls to the ground, and Subtilizer kind of won this fight, and he kind of leaves Sinon on the ground in defeat and flies off. I'm thinking he's heading to the Worlds and Altar to chase after Alice to eat her soul, basically, which is just dude, what the fuck. But after a quick scene with Leafa, it cuts back to the real world between the glasses guy that's trying to save Kirito's STL and the traitorous douchebag that worked with Sugo, holding him at gunpoint. But it turns out the female scientist kind of distracts the guy with the gun, and he ends up falling to his death, saving Glasses Guy, allowing him to basically fix Kirito's STO. And then it cuts back to Poe and everyone else, like Asuna, begging Kirito to wake up, same with Sinon and Lifa. And at this point, you're just like, Kirito, get the hell up. But as it looks like Poe is about to finish off Kirito, it cuts to Kirito in a school, wondering if it was a dream. And I'm thinking this is the beginning process of him finally waking up from his comatose state, and him eventually saving the day and saving everyone and saving the entire Underworld and Alice and basically everything as usual. Overall, I gotta say this episode was pretty good. I liked how they showed the flashback of Poe and the reason he's the way he is and he's evil. I mean, he's still a sadistic, evil son of a bitch who murders for just because he hates Japanese people. I mean, he's still a sadistic, evil son of a bitch just because he's like, oh, I had to transplant a kidney to my brother. Oh, now I hate Japanese people. And now I'm going to go into SAO and murder them. And I'm going to continue to not like Japanese people and to do everything I can to hurt and try to kill them. That's basically his character. But like I said, this episode was pretty good, and I liked Poe's backstory, and I just liked everything about this episode, and I can't wait for the next one. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to go subscribe to my other channels. The links to those will be down in the description below. Also, go follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links to those will be down in the description as well. And yeah, I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.